Welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast, a podcast about business, employment, sports, and entertainment to help educate, support, and guide you to your next level. Here's your host, attorney Sivonnia DeBarros.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sivonnia DeBarros, protector of athletes, and I'm so excited to be with you again today for another episode of What Are You Sporting About podcast. So listen, if you have not yet subscribed to this episode or subscribed to the podcast in itself, I want you to go to your favorite podcasting platform right now and subscribe so you never ever miss an episode. Like, what is that? We don't want you guys to miss an episode. We want you to stay in tune with what we're bringing to you so that we can inspire you to your next level. But look, before I dive deeper, I have to invite you to the NIL Combine live event. I don't know what I could say about myself if I did not invite you to this. All right. So you don't want to miss out. Registration is open. If you are a student athlete, a parent of an athlete, or an athlete advocate, this is a place where you need to be at the #1 premier event for name, image, and likeness, where we help student athletes, their parents, and advocates to break down barriers that have long held them down from creating the wealth and the life on their terms. All right. So go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Again, that's bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. So you can secure your seat right now. All right. So let's secure your seat right now before time runs out. So you guys know who I am. I'm Sivonnia DeBarros, protector of athletes. Like I've said, and today or this week, I've been thinking about what is in alignment with my heart. What do I want to speak about or touch on this week? And as you know, at the time of recording this episode, Mother's Day have recently passed, but days prior to, my heart just really started aching for my grandmother, person who raised me at a certain point in my life. And so today I want to share part of my story with you, alongside of talking about who's standing in line with you. Who's standing in line with you? If you know me personally, and you're going to figure this out today, but if you know me personally, you know that my grandmother was so important to me. She was a mom. She was a mom to me. It wasn't even that grandmother. I guess you can say we had that grandmother relationship, grandmother granddaughter relationship, but it was so close. We had more of a mother daughter relationship. And so that relationship is something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life, because here's one thing about being a genuine supportive person, and especially as grandparents, if you are a grandparent, you end up leaving a legacy with that individual that you've spent time with, that you've poured into. It's not about the ancillary things, objects that you leave with the person, but it's the lessons and the wisdom that is so deeply embedded inside of that person, that child, that your legacy truly lives on inside of them. And I think I am a testament to say I am a walking legacy of my grandmother. All right. I'm a walking legacy of my grandmother. And I truly appreciate the assignment, or let me say it like this: I appreciate that she followed the assignment that God gave her to shepherd me. Because that's pretty much how I feel about it. So I want to give you guys some background about me and my story. And I think I share a lot of things about me, but it only makes sense if you have the context of this talk today about who's standing in line with you. My grandmother, and I've had amazing grandparents. I can't I can't sweep that under the rug. I've had amazing grandparents, and in terms of my grandmothers, oh my gosh, I come from a line of women that have just been phenomenal. All right. But this grandmother that I am talking about today, she passed away in November 2nd of 2020. Okay. And at the end of her life, she was suffering from Alzheimer's. But I can tell you, and I know this for a fact, every time that I would pop up and see her, or she would see me on a video call, she knew who I was. Even if she could not remember my name, she knew who I was, because the love that we had between in our relationship was twofold, right? So even if a person, like, just think about that for a moment. How strong is your connection and your love with a person? If they forgot your name, would they still know who you are, just simply about how you've made them feel? Can they come back to an emotion of how you made them feel? Now, some people may say, well, that's impossible. How could she know who you are if she doesn't remember anything? I can't explain it to you. I can't explain science to you, but I can tell you there were things that she would say or ask me about that I knew she knew who I was. Or when I would walk into the house, her face would light up, right? We would have these intimate moments together where I can just care for her by myself. And listen, I know that she knew who I was, all right? But at the end of the day, my grandmother has been a champion on this path to success, on this path of becoming an attorney. And she, it many times, have been the one standing in line with me. She has been the one standing in line with me. And I want to say this, guys. I want you to think about the person or people in your life who literally, when I tell you they are champions for you, they rock hard with you. They go hard for you. Who are those people? And then follow-up question is, are you embarrassed by that? Or do you feel guilty about that? The reason why I'm asking this question is because I used to feel guilty that my grandmother was there for me. And the way it was often put to me was, oh, well, you have grandma. Oh, well, you have, her name was Glovine, or you have Miss Glovine. But people fail to realize that regardless of having champions in your life, or someone who may have been divinely assigned to you, there's still an amount of work that you have to do. There's an amount of work and show up and commitment to self and accountability to self, that if you don't do that part, it doesn't matter how much someone shows up and champion you on and forward, it's just not going to happen. There will not be a result if you yourself are not doing the work. And so for years, I used to feel as though, okay, am I privileged in this way? Do I have an advantage that other people in my family don't have because I, quote, have grandma, right? And it wasn't until she passed away that I realized, why should I feel guilty about that? Like, there is something that I wholeheartedly believe in, which is called favor. Having favor, the favor of God, right? Where things just tend to happen for you that doesn't happen for other people because you have a certain favor with God. Now, the same is true for you, right? You see other people doing certain things or seem like they just can seamlessly create or have a certain amount of success. And you're like, well, why can't this happen for me? It doesn't mean that it can't, but it might mean that they have a different layer or level of favor with God. So I truly believe that my favor is connected deeply to the relationship that I have or had with my grandmother. I can't explain our relationship, but it was so strong. And I can't say that it wasn't past tense because I still feel like it is. I still feel in many times that she's here with me, guiding me forward, right? But there was this relationship, um, this way of being, this no judgmental zone, this open door that she created for me that allowed me to blossom, that allowed me not to feel like I had to become a recluse or hide myself, but I could truly just be open and tell her what's on my mind, how I feel about certain things, any anxiety that may have come up. And it also allowed her to be able to pour wisdom and education into me in ways that she probably didn't even know she did. Listen, my grandmother didn't graduate from college. I don't even think she graduated from high school, but she understood the value of education. I don't think she graduated from high school. I don't ever remember seeing a high school diploma. I know she didn't graduate from college, but let me tell you what she did. When she was able to get more education, my grandmother would go, there's like all of these certificates that were on her wall. And you could see where she was constantly getting certifications in something, right? And we talk about it today, like go get a trade, go get certified, go do something. And back in her day, now my grandmother comes from what 20, I think 20 to 21 kids. Her parents, my grandparents, great grandparents, were quite savvy people, I presume. My grandparents accumulated land that is still in the family to this day, and each child had a parcel of land. I still remember it. I still remember meeting one of my older aunts, who I believe was the eldest of the siblings, who had land in the center of Gainesville. I remember going to that house as a little child. So my grandmother comes from a family of individuals who understand the importance of value and the importance of education. And when my grandmother's parents died, because they died when she was young, she was raised by her older siblings. So think about that in the context of being brought up, what? I think she was born in the 1930s. So think of being Black, born in America, in a time where your parents are taken from you and still finding a way to become educated. So my grandmother worked at the University of Florida in their cleaning department. I don't know what they called it, but she worked her way up to a supervisory role, always had great relationships with the people who worked underneath her. And she retired the same year that I graduated from high school. I would never forget how excited she was. It was like a monumental year for both of us. I graduated high school, she retired. But she always supported me in my dreams. Didn't matter what it was, she always supported me in my dreams. A lot of people don't know that I went to cosmetology school. I have a certification in cosmetology. And she supported me 100% in that. She knew I wanted to be an attorney, and she will always talk about, oh, how my grandbaby is going to be an attorney. She would even call me daughter to some people, right? She knew that I loved singing, and singing was something that I believe really brought us together and was therapeutic for her, and also helped her to step back into the current time when I would be with her. I would sing to her during the last part of her life. But one moment, which brought me to this title of today, Who's Standing in Line with You? Not only did my grandmother support me in all of my dreams, but my grandmother drove me to Orlando, Florida. I don't remember the year, to stand in line to audition for American Idol. And she had the cooler and the blankets, like everything that we would need. And she stood in line with me. And it took hours. It took hours to proceed through the line to get my moment, although I was so nervous. I didn't know what to do. And it's so quick. It's crazy, y'all. It's like not what you see on TV. And she just still just consoled me and just really championed for me, no matter what the outcome could be or would be, because we didn't know at that point. But she still just championed for me. She still supported me. And support, a lot of times people think support is money. No, support is people being there. Support is saying, you know what? Hey, how are you doing today? How do you feel today? How did that test go? I would talk with my grandmother at least a few times a day, every day, y'all. Like that's how often we spoke. And when time would start to get too far away, Because here I am now, I'm in law school and I'm busy and I'm doing it. Like my grandmother would still call, well, baby, I know you're busy, but I just wanted to call and check in on you. That's support. That's somebody. Woo! Try not to get emotional today on this podcast. But that is someone who's standing in line with you. And they cannot do it for you. They can't go and be the person that's doing the thing that you're supposed to do, but they can stand with you. They can stand in agreement with you, right? There's a study that shows individuals will at least create success 65% of the time if they commit to someone, right? If they commit to someone. But their chances for success skyrockets to up to 95% if they actually have an accountability partner. What does that look like in terms of your best friend or your mom, or your dad, or your grandparent, whoever it might be, that's literally standing in line with you, advocating for you, championing for you, right? Calling you, just making sure like, hey, you ain't gave up today, right? You still going. All right, I'm here with you. Your chances for success goes up. But here's the thing. It's not that this person or people are doing the work for you because they cannot. Listen to the stats, right? The individual still can reach 65% of success without saying, okay, I'm going to have an accountability partner. That already puts you over 50% of a chance to really achieve the success that you desire. But what happens when you have someone who's committed to you, who's committed to the beliefs and the dreams that you said that you have? But it requires you to stay on course. It requires you to still show up committed. Why would a person want to support someone who continuously jumps from post to post saying, well, I'm going to do this thing today, but tomorrow is going to be something different? I can't trust that you're going to stay committed to what you said you're going to do. If I'm standing in line with you, then am I just going to be standing here for naught? Is it going to mean anything? Is it going to be worth anything? But whoever is standing there with you, whoever committed to you, that is standing in line, saying, hey, I'm with you. I have you 100% because I want to see your chances for success soar to over 95%. Why should you be embarrassed about that? Why should you feel guilty about that? I'm asking because you don't. You don't have to be embarrassed and you don't have to feel guilty about it. Because at the end of the day, you are the person that's doing the work. It doesn't matter. You are the person that's doing the work. Does finance help? Yes. Financial support helps a lot. But for a lot of people, financial support may not be coming from other people. It may not come from a third party, right? That might actually come from you, but it's the people who show up to continue championing you forward. Sometimes that's all we need to keep us moving forward in life. So check this out. I found another study that shows 70% of kids under the age of 18 live with two parents. 23% of them live with their mom, 3% live with the father, but guess what? Also 3% in the same age bracket might live with a grandparent. I lived with my grandparent for a significant part of my life, which was leaving middle school and my entire high school year. My grandmother was the person who helped me sign a lease for my first apartment. And she told me, she said, when I do this and you do X, Y, and Z, you'll never need a cosigner again. And I never needed a cosigner again because she knew the character that I embodied. She knew that I would not backfire on her, basically, not paying my rent on time or getting behind on something that would mess up her credit. She had these financial and credit conversations with me often. She had these life conversations with me often. She would pour wisdom into me often about being a woman, being a wife, being a professional, understanding why education is important and continuously pushing forward regardless of what barriers may be coming up in my life. Like that was my grandmother. Okay. So here I am, one of the 3% of kids under the age of 18 who went to live with their grandmother. And I don't know if I can say that my life would have been different had I not lived with her. Part of me want to say that maybe it wouldn't have been different because I know who I am as an individual. I would still push forward, but I know 100% too that living with my grandmother and having the ability to, you know, have her with me, pouring into me 24/7 was it was different. It literally was an advantage for me. And here's the kicker. Although I love my grandmother and she was one of my favorite grandparents, I didn't ask to go and live with her. I didn't ask to live with her, right? So it is amazing how things will happen. Sometimes we feel that it's to our detriment because we want to be in a different place or with a different person, but God always knows better. He always knows best. And that brings me back to who's standing in line with you. Because the individual I asked to live with, they weren't committed to standing in line with me. They weren't committed to standing in line with anybody else. But a divine power put me in the place where I needed to be with a person who had the stamina, who understood the importance, and who knew that they wanted to continue championing me on, right? They had the ability to stand in line with me, and it never ceased. It never ceased. So I ask you again, who's standing in line with you? One thing I want you to do is make sure that you call these people or person and just tell them thank you. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for continuously pushing me forward, even when I felt like giving up at times. Thank you. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for supporting me in the way that you know how, in the way that's best for you, but that has also helped to enrich my life and push me forward towards my dreams and the success that I want on my own terms. And that is why I keep urging you guys to join NIL Combine 2023 live event. I want to stand in line with you. Somebody did it for me, and I want to do it for you. I understand that when someone is there supporting and holding your hand, it can be the difference of you succeeding and it can be the difference of you failing. Yes, you can go and you can try to do this on your own. You can try and figure out what is all of the talk around name, image, and likeness. How can I get my own deal? How can I navigate my own deal? If you're a parent, you might be saying, okay, well, I can just handle this by myself. But it's so much bigger than we can imagine. And that's why I have committed myself to standing with you, to champion you forward so you can break down these barriers that have often left communities like ours stuck. Stuck. I don't want to be stuck anymore. I don't want you to be stuck anymore. And if I didn't have someone helping me, I probably won't or wouldn't be in this position right now having this conversation with you today. So let me help you. Let me help you. Join NIL Combine 2023 live event. RSVP right now. Save your seat. Go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Again, that's bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. NIL Combine is the #1 premier event for name, image, and likeness, helping student athletes, parents, and athlete advocates to break down barriers that have often left communities like ours stuck. One thing that we're going to do is demystify a lot of the things that have been raised and said around name, image, and likeness. But we're also going to give you the tools to effectively leverage, navigate, monetize, and most importantly, protect your name, image, and likeness. This is not an event that you want to miss. This is not an event that you want to miss. This event is happening July 27th through the 29th in Chicago, Illinois. Tickets are available for virtual attendance and in person. So grab your ticket while seats are available. Go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Again, that's bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. And I want to remind you, if you have not yet subscribed to the What Are You Sporting About podcast, don't keep waiting. Subscribe now so you never miss an episode. I'm Sivonnia DeBarros, the protector of athletes. And as always, it's my pleasure to educate, support, and motivate you to your next level. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.
Joining us this week on What Are You Sporting About podcast. Make sure to visit our website, prosportlawyer.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite platform is, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, What Are You Sporting About? Attorney Sivonnia DeBarros is available for private consulting at sldebarros.com. And remember, we're here to educate, support, and guide you in your journey to success, because we're all sporting about something.